My name is Alan. I'm presenting our project called Telefuel. It's a Slack-style business messaging app built on top of the Telegram messaging network. Is anybody here familiar with Telegram? Cool, a few hands. It's an encrypted messaging app, very popular in countries with oppressive government regimes like Russia, China, Iran. The Hong Kong protests are all being orchestrated on Telegram. So it's a very privacy-focused, security-focused user base, and so it's got broad adoption in the cryptocurrency community, and that's where we stumbled across it. So this is what Telegram looks like today. This is obviously the desktop version. The mobile version, it looks just like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. The chat list is here. It's dynamically sorted by the date of last update. You can pin 5 chats to the top. And other than that, there's really no other sorting or organization features available in Telegram. And so you can imagine it's fine for talking to friends and family, but once you start getting into some of these crypto communities, like this one's Trust Wallet, 20,000 members. Binance, this is just their Spanish channel, 7,000 members. Their English channel has over 100,000 members. So large communities are starting to organize on Telegram, and then also another thing that's starting to happen is these projects. So Telefuel, you can start to see, we're using this a lot like Slack. We have our dev channel, our leadership channel, our team channel, channels with projects that we're doing business development with. All of a sudden, it starts to break down this dynamically sorted, data last update chat UI. So we felt this pain when we were using Telegram for business in the crypto space, and Telegram offers an open API for third-party developers to build new clients, and so that's where we thought, this is a problem that we can solve. And so this is what Telefuel looks like today. Similar, UI. You just log in with Telegram. There's no onboarding. All of your chats are pulled in. And then first thing you see here is we're separating your DMs, your groups, your bots, and your channels into separate tabs here. This is extremely useful. Here, because of the activity in some of these groups, you can see that all these communities that I'm in are fighting for the top position, and I have to really scroll through here to find direct messages that I have with people on my team or with other people I'm interacting with. So the value of having this separated into separate chat type filters, super valuable. Bots and channels are super popular in the Telegram ecosystem as well. So to be able to separate them out here has added a ton of value already. And then another thing you can do on Telegram, you can see here I have 8 unread messages, but there's no way for me to, short of scrolling through and looking for the blue bubbles, there's no real filter for that. So here we offer unread messages and unread mentions filters, so I can quickly and easily access the chats that are the most important to me. And then last but not least, here we have these, we call them workspaces. They're basically like chat folders, and I can start to organize chats. So this is like the Telefuel one, and so instead of, again, like I showed you earlier, I had to search Telefuel to bring up relevant groups and chats that are related to Telefuel. Here, I can actually just pin them all in place here. I have my primary groups here, some people that I'm interacting with. And then actually one thing we really like about this, as opposed to Slack, is that Slack is a closed network model. It's really hard to communicate with people outside the organization. Every account on the Slack ecosystem has to be associated with an organization. And you can't put your Slack handle on your business card and say, message me on Slack. It's not that kind of network. And so we think, take the crypto space, or the blockchain space, or open source software, a lot of collaboration is starting to happen kind of outside the boundaries of traditional centralized organizations. And anybody who's worked with freelancers or contractors has felt this pain where if a freelancer works for 5 clients who are using Slack, they have to create 5 different accounts and join 5 different Slack companies. And in the Telegram ecosystem, they just have one account and they can join multiple groups. And so it's kind of like an open network like email, but in a chat paradigm. And so here, these are, I can have people here in these communities that aren't really part of my Slack server or my company instance, but I can have these conversations here right alongside of the rest of my important internal company chats. It's cool. You can drag and drop chats between these. So this is kind of like a CRM. These are leads for our team's product, and so here this folder is of leads, people that I'm awaiting payment for, and people that we've won. And as this conversation progresses, I can just drag and drop into the next area. So mobile now, or sorry, web, starting with web via Electron, or sorry, web and desktop via Electron, iOS and Android coming next month, and it's Telefuel. Thanks. Questions?
How are you guys, what channels are you guys advertising in terms of how to get traction in your user base?
Good question. So we're kind of, we're still working on like product and retention. We did a product hunt launch a few weeks ago, and it went pretty well, and then we got picked up in some press after that. But really, we're still focused on like, I mean, there's still bugs and quirks, so like our virtual scrolling is like kind of wonky. Oh, it's doing okay right now. Yeah, but little things like that, little things like drag and drop and stuff. Like we're not really focused that much on growth yet.
Okay.
CPMs are pretty cheap inside the Telegram ecosystem, so there are these channels that I mentioned, and you can find like you can advertise in some of these channels for pretty cheap. We think we'll do some of that. We're going to do a lot of our first primary customer segments like cryptocurrency and blockchain projects. So we think we're going to do a lot of outreach and a lot of press and media relations, I think. Yeah.
You have a lot of competitors?
There are some. So there's a few different like unofficial Telegram clients. A lot of them are consumer focused. A lot of them are built off of Telegram open sources their clients too. So a lot of them are just forks of those clients, meaning they're always going to be business model constrained. You really can't slap like a price tag on top of that and then start monetizing. So we built proprietary closed source so that we can do like a freemium SaaS model. Nobody's doing that for Telegram now. Telegram themselves have published their feature philosophy focused on like consumer, and so we think that like pretty much building a Telegram client for power users and professionals is a pretty open field right now. Yeah.
How do you prevent spamming?
Sorry?
How do you prevent spam?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Spam is like a really big problem on Telegram right now. We hope that that's a problem that they'll address at the network level and the protocol level, but we kind of think that, kind of like how Gmail, at the app level, you can also do things to prevent spam. So we've thought of a bunch of ideas. Like one common form of spam is people will imitate group admins of popular crypto projects and say, hey, I'm with Binance support, please fill out this survey, and in the survey it includes like what's your email address and your private key, or like your password and your private keys, I don't know. And so we could do something like if you are an admin of a verified group with like verified badges, we could do like careful phishing warnings on usernames that are like 1 or 2 characters away from like a verified admin. So there's some things we think we can do at the admin layer, but or at the app layer, but we're not really we're not totally there yet. There's a lot of like little things that we're not up to parity with like the Telegram features, like our like media browser and stuff here. Like a lot of the parts of the app are still under construction. So it's kind of like a race to get to parity on a lot of these features in some sense, and then also be building out our like unique features while building out mobile. It's me and 2 developers. It's a pretty small team, but yeah, we got a mind towards anti-spam in the future as well. Yeah.
What about, I like that aspect of it. I think there's you can augment some stuff on top of Telegram that they're not currently doing, like filtering spam or creating sort of reputation management.
Yeah.
As well. I think it'd be really interesting, especially as Telegram. I feel like services like WhatsApp and WeChat and all this have like this commerce thing being built on top of it.
Yeah.
And like the crypto space going on here, being able to filter out that, I think would be really interesting.
Yeah, and also doing like we could do like a unified like spam fighting network, but then finding out how to keep that from being abused. Like if someone like, I don't know, you could do some like gray hat stuff to like get a competitor banned by like abusing the federated anti-spam algorithm. But yeah, there's interesting things to think. That's like one of the biggest challenges on Telegram right now. And so solving that would be, again, we hope that that's something we solve at the network layer, but maybe there's something we can do to help. Cool.
What do you, I guess, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask the audience?
Well, depending on like the level of tech, has a pretty tough technical challenge. I mean, we have some pretty specific technical challenges with front end React. like performance here. So I mentioned like our virtual scrolling, and it actually did decently well on this last scroll through. Like positioning, maintaining position on virtual scroll, and here it's kind of being stubborn and it's not even loading. And then also we're using an open source React like drag and drop kind of thing, and so it can be pretty finicky. Like you have to grab these elements exactly in the middle in order to. So if you grab it like here from the side, it like won't. So we have some like specific front end kind of quirks that we're trying to work through. So if you're a really badass front end React developer, maybe give me a shout. We also were using Flutter on the mobile build. So and I think we're gonna be hiring probably 2 more engineers in the next
React
2.
Native?
Sorry?
Not React Native?
No, not React Native, and I can't tell you why. But
No, it's good. Flutter's good.
yeah, I'm
But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, you can take the same components that you did in React.
yeah.
Apply them.
So we started with that, but for some reason, I think it was because Android performance, React Native performance on Android was a big issue.
Oh.
But I'm actually a non-technical muggle, so you have to ask my partners
Gotcha.
for that. Yeah. Cool. Good.